What's up, guys? We are in Atlanta, and more specifically, we are in Marietta, Georgia with Brandon Rickman, and we're about to do a property walkthrough of this house over here in Marietta. Brandon, tell us about Marietta itself. Why is this a desirable area to do a house flip?
Yeah, it's northwest of Atlanta, so we're about 25 minutes outside of Atlanta. So it's easily accessible to Atlanta, but it's a middle to higher level income area. And so the houses in these areas are selling for mid fives to mid sixes. Some new construction is over $1 million. So it's a desirable area. School districts, specifically where we are, 9s and 10s rating. So high school is a 10 out of 10 here. So it's one of the best school districts in the state. And so it's just a desirable place to live. People can get downtown quickly if they need to, if they work downtown, but yet it's far enough out that you don't have the downtown Atlanta traffic.
For sure. So tell us about this house in particular. Why, or what are you gonna have to do to it?
Yeah, so we're doing a big project on this one. It's the exterior is actually in pretty good shape, but it's been a rental for years and years, and it was in really bad shape when we bought it. We got it from another wholesaler that knew I love this area, and so with the exterior, we're just repainting. It already had a newer roof on it. The windows, we're going to do some work on the windows, but for the most part, they're staying. Siding's in really good shape, so it's really just painting on the exterior and then some landscaping, clean up the yard a little bit. The majority of what we're doing is on the inside.
And you know where I'm at, trees end up being a really big deal, but these pine trees out here are absolutely massive. Yeah. Surely you're not taking any of these down.
No,
because that would be probably a huge expense. But do trees ever come into play? Do you ever think about things like that?
They do, yeah. We have to take down trees frequently, and these we're just cutting them back. We're limbing them back, so there's nothing hanging over the house itself. But you know, in this area, there's pine trees everywhere, and so I think it's kind of accepted by most people.
Awesome. All right, well, yeah, let's take a look inside. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us, is this? You said you're gonna do maybe a little bit more to this one than you normally do.
Yeah.
What would you normally do, and why is this one gonna take a little bit more?
So in this type of area, this is, like I said, it's gonna sell for a little over $600,000. So we want it to be really nice, everything to be redone. So we're doing new kitchen, new bathrooms, taking down walls, moving walls. I'll show you when we get inside. It was very boxy, closed in, which is typical of a house of this age. But we're taking down the wall between the kitchen and the dining room so we can expand the kitchen, make it bigger. The bathrooms, we found out when we tore the bathrooms out upstairs, we found out that both of them had been leaking. So there's mold down both walls. The wood was completely rotted out. So we had to tear all that out, reframe it. It's amazing that the toilets did not fall through the floor with the renters that were living here. That's how bad it was. So we ended up obviously spending a lot more on that. I'll show you when we go in. There's a Florida room that was added on the back. It's not completely level. Closed off a door that was going out there and opened up another door, closed off a window in the kitchen. So just extra stuff that we don't normally do. Gotcha. Normally it's more cosmetic, but when you get a project like this, you gotta go all in.
Awesome. Let's take a look.
So we're in the middle of construction right now.
Okay.
One of the things that you'll see, so we're scraping all the ceilings in the whole house. We had stippled ceilings, but there was some areas where they had tried to do touch up and it didn't match exactly. And again, when you're doing a $600,000 house in this area, people want it to be completely done. They don't want to have to buy the house and then come in and spend another $20,000 or $30,000. So this is kind of a traditional house here. You have a foyer where you come in. This would be an office in here. And what we're doing is we're putting French doors there, and we're going to turn this into a 4th bedroom. So this is a 3-bedroom house, but we're going to turn it into a 4th bedroom. If someone wants to buy it and make this an office, that's great. But we put a closet in here so that it will be considered a 4th bedroom from an appraisal standpoint.
Gotcha. So you added the closet.
We added a closet, and we'll put French doors on there. If somebody wants to use it as an office, they'll make this a coat closet. If they want to, put some blinds over the window because it's a bedroom, they can do that. So it gives them the option of it being a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom. But from a retail standpoint, we can sell it as a 4-bedroom, which obviously the value is higher without adding square foot.
Awesome.
And you can see we're redoing electrical. We wanted to have a light in the middle of the room instead of just over in the corner. So redoing some electrical. You'll see as we move into the living room here, we've had to replace sheetrock Again, some moving from electrical, some plumbing pipes we had to redo over here.
So this is kind of the living area.
Living area, yep. It's got a nice fireplace over there.
The other side of that wall was that bedroom we were just in.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
And then this was a half bath in here, which was in pretty rough shape, but mostly from the stuff leaking down from above. So the 2 bathrooms upstairs, the master bathroom is here and the second bathroom is here. So when those were leaking, it was coming down into here, and you can still see, we've had to replace a lot of this, but you can see a good bit of mold over in that corner. So we'll cut out all that sheetrock, replace all that.
Yeah. This will be a half bath.
That's the half bath, and then this is the kitchen.
Okay.
And so the previous layout had the cabinets on this side and this side, and it was pretty boxy as you went through. There was also a wall here that separated the kitchen from the dining room. And so there were cabinets here. There was a solid wall here. And so we decided to make it more up to date, to take this wall down. We did have to put in beams up here to support the weight of the wall. But by taking this wall down, we'll have the cabinets here with a countertop, so we can have a couple of bar stools and then have the dining table over there. And so it makes the kitchen feel much bigger than if you had a wall there. It makes the dining room feel much bigger. It's just a big area where people can congregate and hang out.
So for context, you actually walk in the front door right here and go this way, and this is the dining area, and then it goes
into the kitchen.
Right into the kitchen. Got it.
And there was a window here. You can see where we've closed that in. So they built a Florida room addition on the back, and there was a window here from the kitchen. The sink was here. And so you were looking into the Florida room. We decided to close that in so we could use this whole wall for cabinets and cabinet space. All of this wood is replaced. It's all new framing, new OSB for the floor up there where the water had leaked from the bathrooms upstairs. This was kind of an interesting area over here. I think it was part of an addition, the back part of it. But you have a pantry over here where you could put food for the kitchen, which we kept, laundry room there, and then you have this big open area. The problem with it at the time was there was a double French door that went out to that Florida room that they closed in. So we decided to close this in so that we can put some cubbies there and make this a real mud room. So we'll have some cubbies, some lockers there, so that when you come in either from the garage or from the backyard, this is more of a mud room off of the kitchen.
Gotcha. So that's the back door right over here.
Yeah.
That you would come in off of. Okay. Now you got to help me, and probably help some of our viewers too, because I have no idea. I've never heard the phrase Florida room. So,
yeah, I'll show you when we go around there. So it's basically where it may have been a screen porch. So it was a screened-in porch on the back of the house, and they closed it in with a bunch of windows and sheetrock. So now it's enclosed. They put a window unit air conditioner in there, and so it's extra square footage that you can go sit and hang out in.
So it's like a sunroom.
It's like a sunroom, same thing.
Okay, all right.
I just got back from Florida, so I called it Florida room.
All right, gotcha. Okay.
I guess the sunroom is popular in Florida, so they kind of use that term interchangeably, I would say.
Gotcha. And how do you get to it? You get to it over
right
here. Okay. Because you closed in where I guess there were 2 different ways to get to it. So this was just a back porch, probably a screen-in porch that they closed in.
Closed in before we bought it.
Okay. And you're just keeping it. You're just sprucing it up a little bit.
Sprucing it up. So again, you can see the tongue and groove ceiling, which I love. They can't smell it, but you can smell it. The cedar out here is great, but we're actually going to paint it so it's white or light colored, and then redo the floors. You can see where we closed in. So this was the window that was in the kitchen that we closed in. And then this was a window into the bathroom. Again, traditional style house had this window in the bathroom looking out. We closed that in. It's still the bathroom, but we don't have to worry about a window there.
You mentioned something about the floors not level. Did you say that, or did I imagine that?
Yeah. No, they're not level. So whenever they built this, it slopes away from the house, which was probably the patio that was here before, which would push water away from the house. But when they closed this in, they didn't fix that. So we still have a pretty decent slope here. So
can we do anything about that?
We can, yeah. So what our contractor will do is rip down a 2x4 and put it all the way across there, and then build a subfloor there so that it gets it level.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'll only be maybe 2 to 3 inches tall, but it'll get that floor level.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then they have an air conditioning unit because this is not part of the original house.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't cooled. And then we will have a fire pit out back. So it's a smaller backyard. It's on a corner lot, but it's a small backyard, wasn't very well taken care of. So we're gonna add a privacy fence across the back, and then we're gonna add a fire pit with some Adirondack chairs around it, just to give some appeal, a place where people can go outside and hang out, even though you don't have a big backyard.
Right, gotcha. Awesome, yeah, and you already said the roof and the siding looks good. You said you're gonna paint the siding?
We're gonna repaint the whole outside.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think a newly painted white or light gray is more popular right now than yellow. It's currently like a light yellow. It's not in bad shape. They painted it within the last couple of years. But our goal when we're doing a flip like this is we want to try to meet as many of the buyers as possible. And there may be some people who are like, yeah, yellow is fine. But I think the majority of people would say a white or a light gray is more popular right now.
It's more modern.
So, yeah, more modern.
Looking,
yeah. So we're trying to reach as big of audience of buyers as we can.
Gotcha. And then so aside from the bedroom that you're creating, that was the office in the front, that's an extra bedroom. Everything else upstairs is 3-2, I guess.
It is.
It's a full 3-2 on the upstairs portion.
Right.
I know you got guys working up there right now. I don't know if it's, can we go up there? Or?
Yeah, we can go up there.
We can go up there real quickly, and we can probably talk about it away from the noise.
Yeah.
Maybe.
The most interesting thing up there that I'll show you is the master bathroom was kind of boxed off, and we took walls down in there as well to make it a bigger master bathroom. You hear the work going on up there. So they're replacing sheetrock, fixing the flooring from the leaks that we had. So when you get to the top of the stairs, if you turn to the right, this is the master bedroom. It's kind of a bigger bedroom. There's a walk-in closet down at that end, which is nice. And then this was the master bathroom. And there was a wall across here with the tub and the toilet there and vanities out here. So we took this wall down so you have a bigger master bathroom suite. So now it'll be a big stand-up shower with glass doors there, vanity, double vanity.
Is it common, Brandon, to have a master on the top floor?
It is.
Okay.
It's more common. We get requests all the time for if we're doing any development or any newer houses, they're wanting to see master on the main because it's an aging population, but there's just not many properties like that. So this is a secondary bathroom. This is the one that was leaking downstairs. So we kept this toilet, tub. This wall separates that, and then there'll be a double vanity here. We'll add to that.
Gotcha.
So that's a secondary bathroom.
Gotcha. And then we've got
in the other two bedrooms.
2 other bedrooms in here. What kind of flooring are you going to put in these bedrooms?
We put LVP throughout the house.
Okay.
So luxury vinyl plank throughout the whole house. Some people traditionally grew up with carpet in the bedrooms, but we've just found carpet gets dirty. It's harder to keep clean with LVP. You put it down, it's very resilient to water and to stains. If it does happen to get damaged, it's easy to replace. So
And you're going to do that downstairs as well?
everywhere, the whole house.
Whole house. Even in the bathrooms?
Even in the bathrooms. Yeah, because it's water resistant, waterproof. Again, some people historically have done tile in the bathrooms. We just do LVP throughout.
Gotcha.
And then it's easy to clean, easy to maintain. If it does get damaged, like I said, you can replace it. So
Awesome. We can step outside real quick. I want to ask you a couple follow-up questions.
Yeah.
And we'll be done. I just want to kind of get away from
the noise.
yeah. I'm going to obviously cut all that out. Awesome. Brandon, thank you for taking me through that. I may have a couple other questions. So LVP, you're going to list this at what now?
It'll be 619.
So you're gonna list it 619. Okay, I'm trying. Okay, you gotta help me with my Birmingham brain here, where I hear 615 and it's hardwoods. It's like marble. It's like for Birmingham, that's a pretty luxury type of house.
Yeah.
But 619 is not luxury in Atlanta.
No, I mean, I think from a LVP standpoint, it's so widely accepted now. I mean, you can see luxury vinyl plank in $1 million homes, and we do frequently. This is because of the school district. So these houses are, less than 2,000 square feet, 1,800 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but the dirt is worth so much. The house is worth so much because of the school district. Everybody wants to be in the school district. The schools around here are 6s, 7s, 8. Well, this one is a 10. So everybody wants their kids to live in this area so they can go to that school district. And so it makes the price point go up. It's the value of the land, the value of the lot. And so we'll do granite countertops. We'll do all stainless steel high-end appliances. The bathrooms will be immaculate, brand new, everything in there. All of our vanities will have granite countertops instead of just the cheap Home Depot kind of stuff or Lowe's kind of stuff. So it is a higher end finish. I haven't done regular hardwoods in 5 years probably, just because of the site finishing or buying them pre-finished. They make some LVP that's more expensive than hardwoods, so you can get a much nicer grade LVP for the higher end homes, which is what we usually do.
Yeah, it's really interesting. That's why I love doing this, because I'm going into all these different markets and kind of seeing the differences in a $619,000 house. This is just straight up. It's a mansion basically in Birmingham.
Yeah.
It's in some of these areas.
Yeah.
Let's finally, I just want to ask you about the numbers. So you're going to list it for 619. What'd you buy it for? You already told me you're going to put around 80 into it.
Yeah. So we bought it for 415.
Okay.
We'll spend 80 on it. So we'll be in the high 4s, probably low 5s with interest carry and utilities and all that stuff. So, and a little overage. So we'll be right around 500, 505 all in.
And you probably have some realtor. Does that include realtor?
No. So our plan is to list it for 619, and we pay 4.5% commission. So we have 3% commission to a buying agent, and then we'll have one of our people who's an agent listed, and they get 1.5% because we feed them deals. So we have an agreement with them, and we do a 1.5. So 619 less the 4.5% commission, less the 500 or 505. So we're expecting to make 85,000 on this flip.
Gotcha.
If things slow down and we should be able to get out and make 60 or 65. So somewhere in there, 60 to 80, 85,000.
What's a good flip in Atlanta? Are those good numbers for you? Is that something you do all day long? Is that light? Is that higher? Is this a better one for you?
I think the profit is normal. I would say the difference here is the price point is a little bit higher. So most of the time, if we're not in Cobb County, if we're not in this area, we would do a $350,000 to $450,000 retail price, and we'd make 65 to 85 on it. The reason that we chose to do this one is because it's the area that I live in, and it's very close to my house. We're probably half a mile from where I live. So it's just an easy project for us. And so even though we're spending $500,000, we're only making 60 to 80, 85. It works because the location's great.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Brandon, awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
Appreciate you taking us around this house and telling us about Atlanta. If you didn't see the first video I did with Brandon, where we talked about the Atlanta area specifically, definitely go back and check that out. Otherwise, Brandon, thank you.
Yeah.
And we're going to see you guys on the next one.